does their job, and everything comes together when we call action.
Action!
I get excited about exploring the different sets. It always gives all of us writers ideas about, oh, here's this really cool part of the set that hasn't been seen yet, or here's something that's underutilized. It always sparks ideas. It's just really different from seeing blueprints or photos. Gives you a sense of the living space.
Every department, props, hair, makeup, wardrobe, everybody that has to go into figuring out how we're gonna have these characters interacting with zombies and all these things we have to figure out. It's an incredible process.
We make magic in 8 days.
I appreciate you, man.
I appreciate you too.
That says it all. That says it all.
I'm gonna bust out crying.
Thank you, Your Majesty. For what? For being such a cool dude.
There's nothing like heat, humidity, mud, and fake zombie guts to glue you all together.
These characters are constantly fighting for survival every day. And so you become very close to them in that way because you're really fighting for your lives together.
I've never experienced anything like that. People started like fighting, pulling on hair. Oh, your family doesn't do that? Get on your feet before I have to kick your teeth in. That's my family. It was unlike a family in that everybody was really cool.
It's a bond about a commitment to the work, and it's effortless, and it's genuine, and it goes from the top down.
We're staying.
Just the three of us? I think it's tough watching so many actors being brought into the show and the level that the other actors are operating on. And they first kind of have walked in, settled down, looked around and went, is this real? Is somebody gonna hit me?
What started as excitement became abject terror by the time I landed in Atlanta.
Help me, my boy!
Because I became such a fan of the show.
I need my full kit.
As soon as I arrived in Georgia, I was so welcomed, and I knew I was sort of in the bosom of family.
I'm responsible. I ain't gonna sit here while this fella takes this on alone.
See you out there, brother.
It was intimidating at first, but that stress kind of dissipated as soon as I met Andy.
I am dead, and we're assholes. That's so smart. Who did this?
All the fear just kind of went away like that.
You need anything, you call me. We don't have phones. I'm 4 houses down.
Thank you.
And my first shot, we were wrangling pigs. I looked over at Lenny. I said, Lenny, it's my first shot, man. And he said, welcome to the family. And we were off and running. Been running ever since. Well done, Richard.
We say that it's TWD family, and we mean it in truth.
You keep saying that they're hurting. It's just so much better.
Sasha, honey, what's your favorite meal? And a lot of it has to do with Andrew Lincoln. That man is an example of a leader if there ever was one.
Together. Keep moving. Come on.
We were very fortunate in that first season, and I think we set the tone there in that ensemble of this attitude of even if you're off camera, you work harder for the other actor. The hardest part about being on that show is seeing people leave.
So it's a fictional program, but there are these real-world consequences. Liar. Ultimately up to me. And so I have to take responsibility for those creative choices and have difficult conversations with people.
Good, get rid of them all. It's more lunch for me. No, it's rough. I mean, I've always said it's like real life. You always feel like you have more time with people.
Down now. There's nothing like this show. There's nothing like knowing that you can get killed off at any time.
We could make another deal.
But it just keeps you in the present like life, you know?
I did not want to be killed off of that show. I really didn't.
We can all relate to that kind of struggle. sometimes you don't get to choose family anymore. And that can be painful and it can be beautiful, but it's a process and it's raw.
It sucks. Profoundly.
Anybody says anything, cut the boy's other eye out, feed it to his father.
Everybody shows up knowing they're going to get killed off their show. You know, it's just part of the way it works.
Back to it.
To lose so many cast members that you get to see every day. You know, like they were right there next to you every day.
No exceptions. Some people, let's kill them, but you know, someone like Sneak would, you hate leaving them. Hate not having them on the show. You're not gonna believe this crap. Holy goddamn!
We all bargain. There's a little bit of bargaining that goes on for everybody of like, but why? And wouldn't this make sense? And what about this? And, you know, Andy's notorious for that. I think Andy has tried to save every single actor that has ever been on this show.
It's the most beautiful job. It's the most painful job.
You're all already dead.
The bonus is I get to meet most of the Screen Actors Guild of America doing this job. The sad thing is I'm still here. You know, they get to, it's a catch and release program. But I'm apparently the guy catching and releasing.
They're here!
We always have to remind ourselves, like, nobody's actually dying. Like, they're fine, they're going on to the next thing, but our little bubble shifts and changes, and it sucks.
Just look at the flowers. There is no way to prepare for the loss of a cast member. Although we try to prepare by having our death dinner.
Suppose any time a large number of cast members walked into a restaurant in Atlanta, they were saying which one of them died.
The thing that I don't like is that the cast is completely non-supportive about the situation that's going on here.
I had a death dinner. To be perfectly honest, it was very boring. I thought we were gonna have shots. I thought we were gonna really do a good fare thee well.
Of course, the death dinner that is nearest and dearest to my heart is my own. The love that was exchanged and the words that were spoken, I'll carry them with me forever.
That we all get together and celebrate that person and send them off on their way to new adventures.
We're all going out the same way, I'm afraid. And to see friends and loved ones and people you care about go is agony, but it is a part of life, death. Are we celebrating the show? Because I'm bringing the show right down here.
You and Daryl, that's your big plan?
So I'm working a lot more with Norman this year, which the fans, I suppose, will be happy about. But it means I have to work twice as hard because I have to learn his lines for him.
You know, Andy's become like my best buddy. Like, I love that guy.
Everything he does is really annoying, actually.
He's always been the actor's quarterback. He's always been the one that gets everyone going.
His hair, his beautiful hair.
He's just a super generous guy.
And his little twirly, only a little bit of sort of goatee that he can grow. It's taken him 8 years, and that's all he's come up with.
All the success that's happened to him, he couldn't have happened to a better guy, you know.
I hope they kill him off this year.
Actually, he's an asshole. He does all this weird stuff all the time, like, you know, he gets all serious. He's like, he does all this weird crap. I don't know what he's doing.
I love their friendship. It's so funny. It's great stuff. And JDM is all up in there too now. It's very, very funny. So I'm looking forward to see what they do to each other next.
The three of us have I'm very lucky to have come into this show so late and be embraced and loved by the likes of Andy and Norman the way I have.
I've known Jeff for like 20 years. I've known him way before we did this show.
Clean that up.
So he and I are really good friends, and we ride motorcycles everywhere, and we talk on the phone all the time.
I can talk to them every night about whatever is going on in my personal life or the show. And so to have that kind of friendship with guys that didn't necessarily have to bring me into the fold is a pretty special deal.
And it's the same with Andy. And Andy's and I friendship started on the show and grew this way. The amount of crazy stuff that happens on a daily basis around this show, I just kind of giggle.
I haven't been pranked yet, but I know it's probably coming. I know the last time Andy tried to get at Norman was last year at Comic-Con with the glitter bombs.
The prank war it's a sort of become a matter of honor and pride.
I think it's more of an American thing because Andy's a bit too British. It's just not in our nature to do that kind of, like, we like play jokes and, like, you know, word play, like clever British humor, all that kind of stuff.
I don't know. It started in Japan.
We're big fans of Japan. Yeah. Thank you very much. Do you want to practice your lines I taught you? It's great to be here. Can I just, like, tell you something? It doesn't mean, like, oh, you suck.
And it ended with glitter bouncing in his own face.
He's still going, dude. How much did you put in here?
So much in there. It's an intricate game they're playing. I sometimes have thought of jumping in, and I'm like, I don't think I could hang, you know? I think I'd call Uncle real fast, you know? Like, have mercy on me. You know?
I would never do it. I'm too scared to get involved because I'll just end up with egg on my face, so.
Where's the toilet?
Son of a...
So I think after that, he's just waving the white towel at this point.
He keeps saying that to the waiter, and I'm like, turn it on.
Carl! Carl!
There is a drinking game, which is basically every time Andy says Carl, you have to take a drink. And in some episodes, I'd imagine people get really, really drunk.
Carl! Carl! Carl!
It's got to start with a shake of a head.
Carl! 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 Carl!
Carl? Is that how he says it?
Carl!
Coral.
Carl! Carl!
Carl. We're gonna fight this thing together. Everybody. Carl. You too, Carl.
Carl!
It's so awful. I mean, Andy says coral just the way that anyone else would say coral.
He's gotten better about it, but in season 4, that was when it was really bad. He had all these, like, crazy prosthetics on.
Carl! Carl!
The funny thing is, he's very protective of it. Like, he gets very, like, don't be messing with me about how I say Coral.
It's terrible. It's like a bad impression of a man doing a bad impression of an American accent.
I have too much fun when he does it his way. I mean, it's one of the many enjoyments that we have here on set is when he yells Coral.
Carl, go. Carl! Carl!
Carl.
Carl!
Coral. I'm not gonna do it. Carl.
Coral! Carl! Where's Carl?
After 8 years, you'd think he'd try to work on it, but I think he's just like, he's given up.
Sometimes his accent will slip a little bit.
Carl's gonna be all right.
And there'll be like a little British thing to it. And then sometimes he makes these faces where he looks like he's confused, which I really like.
To save Carl's life, I would have done anything. Anything.
For the record, C-A-R-L.
That's because for every other character, it's Carl.
If they could have called him Jason, it would have been ideal. Why did they call him Carl?
Carl. Just keep walking.
Robert would have been perfect. Yeah, Bobby. Yeah. Thanks, Kirkman.
Carl!
said, fans are so very passionate in the most awesome ways and then sometimes in the most frightening of ways.
We wouldn't